Good morning. Welcome to all who have landed here. I've been up to some things, whether it be creating pages, videos, making use of scraps. This is a page that I videoed, so there is a video on this page. And it's the warmth of autumn. And all these things I actually find comfort in. This is my favorite time of year, where things are cozy and warm. All the different dishes and desserts and things that we come up with. So this is a page that I finished and videoed. This is one that's got a video as well. These are pages from Maremi Small Art, Marta's books. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different elements, 3 different pages. And this guy is from a separate book. But I show you how to make it look like he's actually in the water. And I give you those techniques. So this is Otter Play. There is a video. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out and see how I manipulated that image to get him to look like he's in water. That was a lot of fun. This is a page that I worked on that I used a lot of my scraps. I even used some original images and recycled the outer edge of an envelope that was from a wedding invitation. So there's some recycling going on of things that I've received. There's another scrap page where this is the only original image and the rest is scraps. And using up all those extra bits and pieces so that you can create beautiful pages along with original images and make it look like it's meant to be. So I've been having some fun while I've been using scraps. I played with the technique right up here. It's a double washi tape technique. And I can demonstrate that for you whenever the time arises. We've got the 3 original images, 2, 3 stickers, 4 stickers, and the rest is scraps. So you see how you can meld your original images with scraps, stickers, washi tapes, and come up with a beautiful page. So the reason why I did not film these scrap pages is they take me between 3 and 4 hours to create. Sometimes I'll get frustrated and walk away. And because of that, there's time involved. So it's not possible to create a video like that. But let me know in the comments if you're interested in watching me create a scrap page from beginning to end and how I choose my materials. I would love to fast track it and get it to video if you guys are interested. If not, no problem. It is a long process, but I have learned ways to make it less so. These are some materials that I've gathered for our page today. It's a vintage page. This is our main girl right here. And so I've actually began to gather some images and cuts a couple of other things I want to look at. So let me move this off and get this out of the way and make sure I don't hit my camera. I'm not sure that I'm going to go with these papers. These are all the papers that are in there, and I'll show you briefly just so you can see. I've gotten my materials from Amazon, Temu, Journal Say, and so you can see how beautiful and delicate these images are. One of these days I'll make a page using them. These look like a lot of fun to work with. A lot of different graphic details, lace and pearls. Just simply stunning pages. Different elements, and what's wonderful about these is you don't have to use the whole image. You can tear it, cut it, just use a fussy cut around the edges, use them as borders. A lot of fun, these pages, and I'm just going through them. We'll look at these at another time as far as when we use them. Now these I do want to go through for today. And what's nice about these packs is it shows you all the different designs you're going to be getting. So this is vintage lace. And what's nice about this is you can even use these parts of the main card that's advertising the pack. You can cut these in strips and use these strips in your collages. So it's nice too that you can use the packaging. So I'm looking for something that's going to go with our girl today. I can use browns because we're dealing with greens and neutrals. So browns and blues are going to meld well. And I believe that's the one I want to use, this one right here. This one is speaking to me. And I want to encourage you guys that do the scrapbooking, collaging, and the journaling, the art journaling, to use your free materials. And when I say free materials, I mean those things you get in the mail. So I spent some time the last couple of days organizing my stash, but also going through catalogs. I have not gone through this particular one, but this is a catalog advertising for a holiday for Trudy's Hallmark. You can use any of the snowflakes on this page. And this came in the mail, so it's free. You can use the purple gift on this page. You can use words. You can use product images. So any of these things you can cut out and use as part of your collages. You've got some people that are posing, these little fun images here that you can use. So use your junk mail catalogs to get images you would not normally get from an ephemera company. These are wonderful images that you can use. So I'll be cutting that out later when I feel like having time. I received this, and this is what I've been working on. It's a Viking River cruise catalog. I went on a Viking cruise with Mom in 2017. It was a beautiful cruise up the Rhine River, Germany, France, the Netherlands. Just wonderful places. But this catalog, as you can see, I've really cut it up. And I've missed a couple of pictures. Look at that. So what I've done is I've put these cutouts into my art drawers. So I've got pictures of people, pictures of food. I can use these. This came from a grocery store ad. You can cut out from the newspaper or catalogs. This lady was enjoying a museum. So I've got all sorts of images. I've got the cruise ship itself along with the beautiful scenery. So I've got several of those. If you want to do a travel journal page, over here, I've got maps, and then I've got the beautiful images of the countries that go with the map. Beautiful imagery that you can make a beautiful travel page. Got some penguins. And you can use these images. Isn't that just beautiful? It's what I imagine heaven looks like. It's probably better than that. But use your free materials, your advertisements, your junk mail. And I'm going to put this over here so that I don't get it in the way, because I'm not going to be using these images today. And so that catalog is spent except for these two images. I'll want to cut those out later. So I'll set that aside. So all my scraps I've worked on cataloging by color. I've got my metallics, my grays, my blacks and darks, my neutrals, anything that I've got. And this has helped me actually stay organized and not get overwhelmed. I've got a drawer here that is peaches and neutrals, yellows. This is peaches, oranges, neutrals. This could actually go over here. So this is more peach and vibrant oranges. I've got some prepped and primed velvet ribbon, and I'll show you how to do that one of these days when we start using the velvet ribbon. Both of these pieces are primed. In order to get material ribbon to stick, you have to prime it first, and I'll show you how to do that. So these are pinks, greens, and then I have an overwhelming amount of blues. So I've had to separate in light blues and dark blues. These are images that are whole, that can be used, that they really aren't scraps. They're main images that can make a journal really pop. So you can use art drawers to separate out different things that you have. And I've chosen the art drawers, here's the purples, because it keeps me organized. And when I say art drawers, I mean these guys right here. That's what they look like. And they're stacked up and organized in such a way that when I'm looking for something, they actually make my life easier and more fun. So I'm going to get you guys set back up in the proper position for today's page. Move these out of the way because I may use some scraps. In fact, I'm counting on it. This piece right here is a scrap from a brown paper bag. It still has that fluted edge, which I love. So use your things that you may not want to keep, but they're not soiled, and they make pretty elements for your journals. So I've gathered some of these papers here to use. I may use one of these frames and I may use both. So I gathered these materials. This one says, "You had me at hello. Where there is great love, there are always miracles." So I really love that saying, and I like the image. It's a set of travel postcards that I purchased. This right here is part of a stick tile. It comes from the dollar store. So you can actually add it to a bathroom. You can add it to a kitchen backsplash. And it comes in that larger sheet, and I actually just cut it up. So I'm going to show you. This is what one package looks like. I've already used this. So it's removable tile decals. And they sell these at the Dollar Tree. And you can get many different options. And you can cut these up and use them in your collages. You can use them for borders, for interest. So anytime I see a new design, I go ahead and snap it up. Now this is part of a much larger, so all I need to do is just peel the backing. It's real easy, and it makes for a beautiful element. So let me get this party started. this to show because it's such a beautiful quote. Trying to get her as straight as possible. Now to add interest, and I want to uncover that part of her arm. And I'm getting out some things that I have also gathered, scraps, things that I may want to use. I usually have a box that I put everything in so I can see how it's going to meld. I'm going to add some interest by cutting off this blank corner. And I apologize for the loudness of that. Now you see I have this beautiful decorative corner I'm going to use somewhere else. Now, I like the juxtaposition of these two that originally went together and are now like this. So I'm liking that effect. And now her hand is uncovered. So I can't even talk right now. So sometimes you have an area that you didn't mean to cover up, but it ended up doing so. You can change it. This particular glue gives you a couple of seconds of repositioning time. Depending on the material, sometimes it's permanent immediately. And when you go to take it off, it'll start to tear the image. So you do have to be careful. And this frame I'm really liking because of its delicate, but I also like this one because it's got some green in it. And it goes with our green theme. So with the frame, you can frame a specific object. You can frame a specific object. You can frame a specific object. You can tilt it so that it frames part of an object. And I am actually liking that a whole lot right there. So I'm going to go ahead. And I believe these do come off. I believe they are stickers. And if not, I will just tack it on there. I am not getting it apart, so rather than you guys see the fumble and have me working on it for the next 5 minutes, I'll go ahead and glue the backing to it. Sometimes that's what I do when I can't get the sticker part off. And the fact that you've overlaid this on top of 2 images gives you a whole lot of interest. And I'm gonna go ahead, I will save that for another day. I'm gonna go ahead and trim this, but I'm not gonna throw away the piece. I will the gray fuzz that came out. So I'm going to take this little piece and I'm going to put it somewhere. So use your scraps. Not only do you not waste, but it adds interest to your journal. Okay. So I've got this sticker here that I love. It is beautiful. So I want to use that eventually. I've got some scraps and some scraps. This one I did not end up using, so that's okay. I can put it back in my stash. And I rearranged everything so much so that I've got to relearn where I put the different drawers. Okay. Now I love that this has a ragged edge, and this has great interest here. But I want to soften that edge. So I'm going to go ahead and soften it in such a way that it doesn't get rid of all of that gorgeous detail. So you can recut your scraps so that they have a more pleasant look. You see that jagged edge there? I'm going to go ahead and soften it. If you want the jagged edge, by all means use it. This is your world. Don't be afraid to go over images. It's part of that beautiful layering collage that you can end up with. I'm not liking this straight edge, so I'm going to soften it. And how you soften a straight edge is you just wiggle the scissors to get a softer edge. But I do like that jagged edge right there, so. And I'm actually gonna tuck this under that corner just to add interest. And I'm bringing that right to the edge of this photograph here. And I'm gonna go ahead and stick her down proper, because I just noticed that I didn't put any glue on her. I just set her down. So let's get her worked out. Now I have not used this lace yet. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to fussy cut the edge of this lace. And I'm doing this pretty fast on purpose, so you guys don't have to see me cut every little detail. I want some of that wood showing, so I'm not going to go all the way down to the other part of that lace. Having a sharp pair of tiny point scissors, sometimes I'll even use my manicure scissors that are normally used for nails. Depends on how tiny the details. Okay, now you can see I bypassed some of this, and you're allowed to do that to make an image softer or to save time. Now, I don't like how thick this is and how it's looking on here, so I'm gonna trim it, and I will use this trimmed strip in another project because I want certain elements to show. I don't want to cover everything up, so I could even use this on that page. That's perfect. That's exactly what I was wanting to show. I'm going to take this strip, and I'm not going to put it right to the edge because that adds interest. You can take it straight to the edge and make it flush, but you lose your interest because these two images are starting to meld together as one. So in order to keep that interest, bring it inwards And then it goes off into this other area. So something like this you can tuck in. But again, I don't want to cover up her hand, so I have to be strategic. This is so busy up here, I'm thinking that I want to put this right down there. So tuck in your scraps, hide the jagged edge, or don't. But it adds interest and makes you think that there's something bigger underneath. This scrap too, that's really beautiful. I don't know if that detail is coming out on the camera. And I'm just kind of fussing a little bit. Somehow that piece got cut off, so I'm going to remove it. Probably in a previous using of those squares. Okay, there we go. So on this piece right here, I am going to take it to the edge. And then it's going to overlap the postcard and the music. So it's just adding layers. I have a scrap with some green leaves and a little bit of pink. And I see an area in which I want to use it. Now, how this comes about of how do you choose where to use it? It just comes with practice. I'm going to line that up straight along that edge so that everything's straight on top. But it's going to overlap this piece right here. And you see how much interest that adds? And I've got this piece right here that's got some green. You see how that breaks up that huge, almost white piece? So go over your strips, go over your areas to break it up with your scraps. And not only does it make it beautiful, but interesting. So I've got this big leaf that I cut out from another project, but I never ended up using it. So I'm going to go ahead and use it now. And I'm going to put it right here like it belongs here. So that fills in that area up here, overlaps several pieces to bring in interest. Now what I'm doing right now is taking stock to see what everything's looking like. And where I want to place my butterfly. And you see this gap between the two? by doing this, I'm going to bridge it. Doesn't cover up her hand. It bridges that gap. You still see the juxtaposition, but it brings everything as a whole. It brings it all together. Now I have some other stickers here that I want to use to add interest to areas that are a little bit plain, like this right up here with this brown paper. So bring your stickers onto 2 different pieces, not only to bridge a gap, but also to add interest. I've got some flowers here. Since she's got whites and yellows in this, I'm gonna go ahead and continue that. I can get this off, there we go, by placing that right there. It fills in this empty area and adds interest. I'm going to take these white flowers and add some more interest over here. So I'm overlapping this image and that image and adding interest on that set. I want something down in here. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with the browns and the golds and the rusts. And I'm going to place this right here. So it adds interest between these 2 pieces, but it doesn't cover up that beautiful message. Okay. I was taught by an art teacher at one time. In fact, I was told by several. They say, edit, edit, edit. You put too many things. So I'm going to stop here because I could keep going. I could add something here. I could add some stamping. In fact, let me demonstrate that so you guys can see how to add stamping to what looks like an already finished page, so that it gets onto several images, if not onto the background. So I'm going to choose this right here. This is one of my favorites, but I need to turn him the right side. He's one of my favorites. Now I can go with any of the colors of the Distress Oxide that I have. This is black, so I don't want to choose the black soot. This has got a lot of browns, so I want to choose the Vintage Photo. And what I like about these glass blocks is they have the grid that you can actually line something up with. And then you can see through it as well. So I'm going to go right here with that. It's going to go right over the greens, the whites and the browns. And there it is. So that's another way to add interest and layering to a journal page that looks like you might want to be done with it. Now, I'm going to do one more. So let's see if you can figure out where I'm gonna go. Where is she gonna go next? I'm gonna go right here, and I'm gonna go right over that frame. Do not be afraid to go over your images. Do not be afraid to play. Get your stamps out and just play. Now let's see what that did. You see how it went right over that frame? And it had some beauty and elegance. It's a lot of fun for me. Okay, so there she is. It's our vintage Firefly. That's what I just named her. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun with this to explain my choices. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up so that I know that this is the kind of page you like to see. It really helps to know what you guys like to look at, what you want to see. Thank you for your time, and I will see you on the next one.